I play Nakano, Tiefling Rogue, and from our last episode, I would say don't be so crabby.
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect.
I play Tamron Grounder. I'm a dragonborn sorcerer who's an archaeologist, and today I'm gonna bone the enemies. That's a good one. No, that's a good one. No, it's good. That one was good. The other ones were bad, but that's a good one.
Can you do it in a French voice?
Is it with bone the enemies?
Yeah, that's better.
Hi, I'm Noelle. Today I'm playing Misheni Ankmut, the Kenrin ranger and fighter, and I'm being slick as a sick seal.
Hi, my name's Cameron. I play a Scoop Crinkle, and I'm a cleric of the Tempest. I should stop loafing around. It's always these kind of jokes.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's good.
That should be good. Sorry about that. I forgot to put my mic into the OBS. So if you didn't hear before, welcome all. This is Dice of Ages, CrestVahllen, presenting CrestVahllen, the Baker's Dozen. I'm your not so humble Dungeon Master TJ, but they heard everybody else. So hi, welcome back. There we go. Now it should be working. Sorry about that. New setup, new microphone, new Mackie board. OBS just did a huge update, so I had to redo literally every scene and every scene switcher because it updated to a new version. So that was a pain in the butt. But everything's fine. Cool. Last we left off, you guys were in this underwater city. You guys haven't found out the name of the city yet. And okay, Sean, you're freaking me out.
I'm getting into character.
Okay. Wonderful. Cool.
I rolled in that tournament.
Cool. So, without further ado, you guys want to play some D&D?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. We'll move this over then. We're going to pause this real quick so it can catch up to me while I read the recap real quick. Cool. So, as Masheni probes closer to the large underwater city, she ponders the presence of the Eldritch iconography, and her mind harkens back to what Carver had mentioned some time ago. Eventually returning to a Scoop and the Kuatoa guard, she witnesses them chew the fat, unable to agree upon what to do next. Back through the portal and in the cenote, Tamron, Nakano, and Hurt grow concerned about the fate of their companions, but are also uncertain upon a prudent course of action. Meanwhile, the wet part of the gang learns of the Kuatoa's misdeeds, breaking a large eldritch statue and recruits him to the party. The fishy dude named Blubglub suggests that they enter the city via Shoal's Wharf, before Masheni and him return to the cenote to retrieve the rest of their group. Nakano and Tamron learn what has happened on the other side before delving through the curtain of water tethered to one another. Unfortunately, Hurt is thrown off course by the current, fading into the blackened abyss, pursued by Tamron. A large tentacle, purple, reaches out from the endless water, latching onto Tamron, pulling him further into the dark. Panicking, Tamron and Hurt try to break free, eventually succeeding and swimming like hell back to the coral mushroom forest and their companions. The band decide to disguise themselves to keep from arousing suspicion while within the city inside the caldera. After a failed attempt to reach the border of the city, realizing that they have not enough air, they return to the rim and harvest. Whoa, I lost my space. Right, they return to the rim and harvest an air plant from the sediment. An indirect and odd conversation with the plant lead to Tamron feeding it his and Blubglub's poop to keep it happy and healthy. The party try to swim to the city again, successfully dodging the patrols and passing through the city's veil near the wharf, entering a highly humid but breathable atmosphere. Masheni uses Druidcraft to produce some sand dialers, the preferred currency here, as the gang head to a bar within the city. Some members suck on some sea sponges to make them temporarily forget things, while they learn about the sleepy people that receive the mistress's blessing at the temple that they and are improved. The troop give Blubglub the slip, telling him to hang out the siren's call while they investigate the temple. The band witnesses a ceremony where the barnacles are grown upon an uncautious individual, allowing it to grow gills and Piscean anatomy. The salt marshal greets the party before returning to their duties, while a pillar with primordial script is recorded by the group in reverse cuneiform form. The pillar tells the story of the salty mistress, also known as the sunken queen, and how she made a deal with the baker to save her people that were drowning from a great flood. The sinking city was transported to the plane of water and placed upon the pillars, parts of the broker's body, which it now stands. The age of the text is estimated to be during the latter years of the Selendian Empire, and the stone seems to be similar to that would have been found on the west coast of the continent of CrestVahllen, near the ruins known as Yask. Now, let's get back to the action. Welcome back to CrestVahllen. All right.
I'm sorry, it's really creepy.
What's creepy?
I was going full fish.
Oh, cool. So, I believe you guys are still in the temple, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are still in the temple. You had just finished. I believe it was which ones of you speak primordial? Right. So it was just Machete. So
I think so. Yeah.
I think it was just Machete because she was recording this information, like this lore, on this pillar, and she had found out a little bit more about the background of the salty mistress. And she found out some of the history, and so you would record this. Are you sharing this with the rest of the group, or are you still like recording and reading this?
No, I would share it with the rest of the group as soon as we have like a moment. Because if you guys are in the library with me, right? Or was it?
It's not a library. This is the pillar found in the temple of the salt, one of the temples of the salty mistress, like the choral cathedral type.
Oh. So it's just carved on the...
Yeah, it's just like one of the support pillars has like primordial text like transcribed all around its circumference.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I would translate and tell you guys immediately.
Cool. Yeah, so you guys learned some of this history. Just to recap, like I said, the origins of this city are steeped in a little bit of mystery, but some sort of great flood or some sort of happening caused the whole city to like be underground or be covered in water and start to sink, and a bunch of like high density population of all these people were drowning because some sort of natural disaster. And the queen of the city, who is now the salty mistress, the sunken queen, made a deal with someone called the broker to save her people. And the city was transported to the plane of water and set upon the pillars on this, like slowly floated down until finding purchase upon these pillars in the center of this caldera. And its denizens were transformed by the broker's powers to have like ability to breathe underwater and be at like depths. And yeah.
And if I remember correctly too, we did, there was a label of the broker or something next to the idol statue. Am I remembering that correctly? Or
so
I just don't have my notes in front of me because of
I believe you did
travel.
some sort of insight check, or you were curious, and what you had noticed is that there is some sort of strong relationship or correlation between because the pillars that you had noticed had been mentioned in the story as part of the broker, and the pillars have that same eldritch iconography as the eldritch idol that you have.
Okay.
Is there anything around the temple that's made of the same material as the idol?
I understand, you're looking for that same kind of old, odd stone ore mixture of unidentifiable material.
Yeah.
Are you gonna start poking around, or are you just perusing with your eyes?
I'm poking.
Okay, cool. Why don't you go ahead and roll an investigation check? How Snoopy do you want to be? Do you want to start going into like back rooms?
Yeah, if it's like, unless there's like people just like watching me, like is anybody kind of watching me? Like, am I just? I'm feeling it out. You know, I'm just kind of getting a sense of it.
Sure. I'm sorry. There are people like doing their alms and like prayer and stuff like that. You see the salt marshal is a little busy right now, so it doesn't look like there's anybody like watching the door to like the back rooms where like you don't know necessarily what's back there, but like you know that door that's in the back of a church that like the parish comes from or whatever, or not the parish, but like you know what I'm talking about. You get that kind of feel, except it's not like a door; it's just a doorway. If you want to try to be like a little Snoopy and sneaky, you can try to roll a stealth check and like slip back there and see what.
Yeah, I'm gonna poke around.
Okay, cool. So go ahead and roll a stealth check, see if you can slip back there, unnoticed. There's nobody like on guard.
19.
19. Yeah, you just straight up like a fish and eel, just kind of slither on back there.
Maybe this fish thing.
Yeah,
it's working for me. Oh, never mind. Forget I said that.
I think we made it 5 minutes, guys.
Oh, God. We're gonna take a quick break. Yeah. Great. So you slither on back there. Unseen. What did you get on your investigation check? Because I'm gonna have you. So this investigation.
Oh,
check,
natural one.
Natural one. Okay, so here's what happens. You are entirely uninterested in anything in this like main chamber here, and I'm
just enjoying being a fish.
You look here and you're like, nothing's here. All the good stuff is back there. So that was your investigation check for this like front chamber, and you're like, fuck this place. I don't want like this isn't what I'm looking for. I want to know what's beyond there. And you slither on back there, and like you rolled pretty damn well in stealth. Does anybody have a passive perception of higher than 19? Scoop. So for Misheni and Nakano, Tamron just is gone. You turn around and he's just gone. But a Scoop, you notice him like his tail kind of disappear behind. Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, sure.
I'm trying to be secret to the group.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, sure. You let them know, and a Scoop, but you are able to like clock where it is that he went. Like he turned right after he went through that doorway into like the back rooms. So you know that he's snooping around. So if you guys want to like give him any cover or anything like that, you know that that's what's going on. But first, I want to do one more thing. You go into the back rooms. You find that there's a hallway that kind of splits left and right, but then it like reconvenes itself, like it goes around an area that is kind of like an island in the center that seems to be like some sort of like large support wall. And then you end up in what looks like another back chamber, but then it's on either side of the chamber are stairs that go in either directions down. In this back chamber, it looks like there is some like rolled up like what would be underwater scrolls, but they're like large leaves of some type that look like they have been like etched with like tiny like almost pointillism that have so what happens is that like if you would unroll them and like hold them up to a light source, you can read them that way. So it's like rather than blocking out light, it lets light through and you read it through like light, and that's like so that's how these scrolls are, and they're riddled with what languages do you speak?
Andronki, Common, and Dragon, which
Draconic.
Draconic, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So you don't recognize this language, but I would say that from being in like, an archaeologist, anthropologist, that kind of thing, and your experience is that your feel is that they probably have some tie to the primordial that your friend Misheni has been reading, but a little bit more of a specific dialect closer to like water speech. So like meta knowledge, this is Aquan, but you can't really understand it. You can't really read it.
I'm gonna stash one in my bag.
Sure. You want to just grab any old one?
Just grab one.
Okay, cool. You snag one, you grab one. They're like tall. They're like as big as those large elephant ear leaves.
They fold up.
You can roll them up. But yeah, you could just barely fit one in your bag as far as how tall it is. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, you do that. The other things you notice here, so there looks to be like a lot of the furniture here looks to be like chipped and carved out of the coral, or like the coral has let to be grown or promoted to be grown, like through druidic means or whatever, into certain shapes. I know there's like a certain company right now that actually puts frames over plants and actually allows the branches to grow in the shape of a chair, so that when they pull it up and it's done, they literally grew a chair. It's already grown as a chair. So it's kind of like that. The coral has been like let to grown, kind of like when watermelons are grown in cubes, so that they sell cube watermelons, those kind of things. So it's kind of like that. So you see what looks like two spots here that are meant to sleep. Looks like the salt marshal sleeps back here. And there's like a desk, and there is like a couple of instruments used to write or perforate leaves. Another thing you see is what looks like some sort of painting. You're not entirely sure what the material, like the paint, the textile or whatever is used to make this, but it looks like maybe some sort of cloth and some sort of like water resistant material. And the painting depicts, it's an interesting scene. It depicts what looks like, this is the first time you've seen a depiction of what perhaps the sunken queen would look like. But in the center of this paint, it's like in all its glory, is this just awe-inspiring woman. Very like kind of Ursula-esque, with like the octopus tentacle like thing from the waist down. And
Is it Bliptoolpoop? I'm very familiar with how she looks.
No, this is not Bliptoolpoop. This looks like a depiction of the salty mistress herself. So Bliptoolpoop has like a full-on lobster head and lobster claws. She doesn't. She has a humanoid head and long flowing hair. This individual has a humanoid head, long flowing like silver hair. Interestingly enough, being an anthropologist and archaeologist like herself, she has a lot of elven qualities. Like a lot of elven qualities. She has that angular face, the eyes. It looks like she's like what somebody would be, like a mixture between like a dark elf and a high elf, kind of like that. Because she has that just kind of that skin tone and like the darker yet kind of glowing eyes. She has these like amber, golden glowing eyes, irises. And she just, her mouth is open and she has like more like predatory teeth than average elves do. And she has the tentacles and like the kind of like that whole octopus form that are roiling. It's a beautifully painted piece, and she's holding out her hands both together, and what she's holding in her hands is one of the idols. Or at least what looks like an idol just like yours. And then you see before her, kneeling before her in like, the foreground of the painting, like with their heads bowed, are a bunch of what looks like sea elves.
I'm going to take out my phone and snap a picture.
I'm not, you can take a mental picture.
Okay.
Do you want to like sketch this out back here real quick or something, or?
Let me keep investigating, and then if I have time, on my way back without being chased.
Okay, cool. Why don't you go ahead and roll?
I'm probably not supposed to be here, so I'm gonna just kind of.
Cool. Why don't you do me a favor? Roll another investigation check, and I'm gonna check in with you in a little bit, and then you can tell me what it is. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Awesome. What are the rest of you guys doing in the front of the temple?
Street.
Yeah, it should be coming through just fine. It was just quiet at one time. All right, cool. So what are you guys doing in the front? Butt licking.
Butt licking.
So the crab lady is doing her best to turn around and lick her butt. While the sixth seal is commenting.
I was
Ramsey. Ramsey's
No.
looking at his
I know.
butt.
I'm just joking.
He needs his glands expressed.
So, what do you guys want to do now?
We
Other
gotta
than
go.
like butts,
I mean, it's a fun pastime. It's whatever. You want to go, a Scoop?
Yeah, 10 minutes left on this guy's.
Oh,
Yeah.
we gotta go then.
I know, we should... I know Tammy went to go, like, investigate, but... Should we just, like, follow him and get... I don't know. Or, like... Okay, maybe we can get you, like, a tablecloth or something you can hide under for a bit, a Scoop, if we run out of
Not a
time.
bad idea, yeah.
Okay.
We are limited on the time for Captain Avery to show up.
Yeah, that's true too. All right. I look around for a tablecloth or some sort of cloth or tabard or something just to.
Yeah. So here's the deal. What you do find is, there. Actually, do me a favor. Roll a perception check.
Okay. Not bad. 22.
22. Okay, here's what you do see. You do see what looks like tabers, or like, people of the cloth, what they wear. Like their robes hanging up on like coral hooks on on like the part of like the far side of the room.
Mm-hmm. Here, this one looks to be in your size, right?
You just snag one?
I mean, I look around. I'm not dumb. I just look around really quickly to see if somebody.
Oh yeah,
notices.
I mean nobody's watching you. Like nobody's fully watching you. Do you want to like turn it inside out so it's not obviously because it does have like the emblem of the salty mistress, which is like just it kind of looks like the Greyjoy symbol, where it just is kind of like a circle with a bunch of tentacles on it. So yeah, you can turn it inside out and you hand it over to who?
A Scoop, because his disguise is running out.
Yeah. Okay.
In 10 minutes.
Cool. Just a Scoop. You wrap yourself up in this thing. You like wrapping your face up, or like what are you doing with this thing?
What kind of gives the disguise self? It's
I'm sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you. I think you're far from.
What kind of gives like the disguise self, the face, the body.
It's the whole thing. I think it's the whole thing for disguise self, right?
Yeah, the guy's disguise self is just an illusion that goes over your body, and it can adjust the height of your body by 1 foot in either direction, or 1 foot in any dimension.
Since no one's really watching me, I could just, I guess, my face, right? No, can I do like everything above my waist up? Possibly.
Oh, just like cover everything above the waist with the cloth, so your legs are still showing.
Yeah.
Sure. You want to look like a pufferfish with legs?
Sure. There's.
Okay, cool. Yeah, if you want to like kind of puff up the top of it and like make it just a bundle of cloth and have your eyes poking out like one of the wrappings, so you look like a bandaged pufferfish with legs. Sure. Cool. That'll work. Why don't you go ahead and roll something for me for that though? Why don't you just roll a
natural 20?
I guess never mind. Whatever it is you were gonna roll, I was gonna say like some sort of deception roll, but yeah, sure. Natural 20. Yeah. So you look like a pufferfish with legs with a birth defect.
Oh
God. And because your disguise self is starting to fade.
Okay. Oh.
Tamron still has not returned. Are you guys gonna wait for him, or are you guys splitting?
I mean, we shouldn't split the party up, right?
Well.
Any further? I think if we've learned one thing over the last couple days.
Yeah, right.
A Scoop, one of the things you do notice is that the salt marsh is finishing up their conversation with an individual, and looks like they're walking headed towards the back doorway.
I thought they were doing the ritual.
They finished the ceremony. So they finished.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Should we like pretend we're walking out or something, or I don't know, or just like hide, or be like really enraptured by a book that they don't need to, or something? I don't know. Just
We got the salt marshal probably going to where Tammy's going. So what should we do? I mean, we can, of course, read a book, kind of keep a side eye.
Either that, or we try talking to the salt marshal. Don't know what about. Other than like, I don't know if we want to probe more on the broker, or what do you think?
I can't hear you over there.
Oh.
What do you think?
Yeah, so the
Oh,
salt
hold on.
marshal is fully heading towards the doorway that Tamron went through.
Okay.
Like fully heading to the back.
All right. Nakano, do you think we should either like pretend we're still reading a book or something, or do you think we should distract the salt marshal? I don't want Tammy to get in trouble, right? Do you
Yeah,
think?
we should try.
Okay. Do you want to talk to the salt marshal?
Sure.
Okay.
Wait.
I mean, you're just so convincing as a crab, and I've already gotten like the pity.
You can do it.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I'll keep pretending to bury my nose in a book or something, and like keeping watch of just what's going on.
I'll do a little crab flirting.
I'm gonna do a little crab flirting.
Yeah.
So you straight up like walk sideways and just intercept him
Yeah.
and just look at him. Just like, hey.
Yeah. I think that'll work.
Okay, go ahead and roll a charisma check for me. Just a straight charisma check. Just see how distracting you are. 10. You're a crab person that has walked in front of him, and he's like, hello? Excuse me. Excuse me. I need to get by. Is there something I can help you with, child?
Just crabbing.
You're just crabbing?
Cramping.
You're cramping. Do you need some tea?
That would be great.
Do you need a massage or something? Can I help you?
Actually, I do.
You would like a massage?
Do you know where I can go for a massage?
I mean, I could give you a massage if you like.
Yeah? Is it gonna cost me?
Oh, no, my child. You are a child of the sea. It's my distinct pleasure to work out your kinks.
Yeah, you know what? Actually,
Watch
there's
his
this
phrasing
spot.
today.
Why don't you splay your hands up on the wall there and just spread your legs?
Split! Good lord.
What
Like,
is
well, you've
wrong
had
with
too
you
many.
today?
You have too many limbs. I'm sorry. I try not to be like specious, but you have to. I can't. If you lay down, I won't be able to get to. There's too many things in the way. I can. How about if I just it's super awkward. It's super awkward. This guy's like trying to like crouch and get close to like your back area where you want him to massage where the thing is, but there's just too many crab limbs in the way. So he's like, if you could just move that and just no. Okay, maybe don't. Not so much. And it's just it just kind of all gets in the way, and it's so. You're playing Twister with the Salt Marshal pretty much right now.
That's
You're winning because you have an extra 4 limbs. sufficiently distracting him enough. Like you could tell he's very embarrassed, very not sure like what he should be doing exactly because it's been a, like, you know, I'm not the best at people with exoskeletons, but I'll do my best. Meanwhile, back in the back, Timur, what'd you get on that investigation check?
Don't remember. I think it was mediocre.
Yeah, it was 1.
No, that was my first one. I think it was like 11 or 12.
11 or 12. Okay, so here's
something somewhere very in the middle.
You don't really notice too much interesting else back here. However, what you do here are what sounds like. Do you have the book on you? The book that has the book that has the idol in it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
What you hear coming from down the stairs and from your book is like.
Okay. Okay, that's good. I'm gonna go back to the party now. Sneakily.
Okay, cool. Roll another stealth check for me.
Can I use the one from before still?
No. This is different stealth.
It's a natural one.
Oh no!
I'm coming back through now.
You come out while this assault marshal is having a very awkward game of like, where should I put my hands with Nakano Crab Lady, or like, and you witness this, and the assault marshal is like, "Oh, sir, is there something I can help you with?"
Oh no, I was just praying to the salty mistress on that wonderful mural back there.
Oh yes, it is a beautiful painting, isn't it?
Indeed.
It does help me reinvigorate my faith when I feel like I have strayed sometimes.
Yes.
The founders were indeed gracious.
Indeed, they were. Excuse me.
Yes. Oh, and
it's like a nice massage you're getting there.
Excuse me.
Yes. Where were we?
You want him to continue? Cool. So he starts like kneading that like kink in your lower back with his like fishy knuckles. And like it just sounds like you know those cockroach magnets where they go together. It just sounds like that because it's like exoskeleton on exoskeleton. It's very weird. It just sounds like bone on skeleton. But eventually, yeah, you know, it feels good. You don't have like from carrying all those limbs all day long. Sometimes you're like, oh man, my back. So this is like it feels good. He does like kind of like give you some relief. Like there's that one that, and then there's another one that's like, because sometimes when you like crack a bone, it's like that didn't feel as good as I thought I was gonna feel. They eventually go like, well, I think I've done as much as I can. I have to go to sleep because it's time for bed for me. But please, my child, if you make sure I understand that the burden of faith is great, but you are doing a wonderful job. I can't hear you.
Have a nice night.
You as well. Tamron, you come back. You don't see a scoop, but you see a very a blowfish with legs that looks like it has a birth defect.
Who's this charming fella?
Then you look down and you see, it's wearing a scoop's pants.
You've killed a scoop and taken his pants. On guard.
Who knew those pants were so fly?
They're probably the disco pants, aren't they?
Are you still wearing your disco pants?
Oh my god.
Yes.
Probably.
Disco
Yeah.
beats.
Like
Amazing.
the ones that he got from the port town.
Yeah.
Shy.
No.
No, that's
No, that's the pirate. That's the pirate island.
Encore.
No, the one
Shy
where-
Fest.
Saivesh. Yes, we look at that. We remember things. Awesome, cool, great. You guys are all back together. What would you like to do?
Okay, so did you find anything? Like,
Yes. So I heard. Well, first I found this leaf with primordial written on it. I can't quite read. I figured you could, but I think maybe we should try to like do what we came here for, and then dip this later.
yeah. Sounds good.
But I heard whispering coming from the book and coming from down the stairs back there. That sounded the same, so I think we might be close. Maybe we should follow those sounds.
Okay. I mean, a little scary, but it's a little spoopy.
But
This
that's
is
just
good.
baseline for us, I feel like.
Yeah, it's a Tuesday.
Yeah.
We'll put that better. All right, cool. I just peek a little bit at the scroll just because I'm curious, but can I read it at all, or is it like trying to read? Is it like I know Latin and I'm trying to read French?
Kind of, but here's the deal. Do you want to peek at this scroll that you took from the temple while we were still in the temple?
No.
Okay, so you guys want to leave the temple? You guys want to leave the temple first?
Well, no, I want to do the thing first and then leave the temple.
Yeah, we want to go follow the sounds.
Okay, you guys want to go
Spoopy sounds.
sneak back into the back?
Well, yeah, we have to do the thing we came here for. Otherwise, why did we come here?
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Okay, but my question still stands. You want to look? Are you saying? Do you want to step outside and look at this thing, or do you want to blatantly pull it out in the temple that you stole it from?
No. I thought it was just like in his hand, so I was just gonna like.
He has to
my
pull it
bag.
out from his bag.
Oh, okay. No. Then never mind. Strike it from the record.
Okay.
I'll look at that later. Perfect. Okay.
Probably not supposed to have it.
Okay, so what are you guys doing? The salt there's still some people here like praying and doing their thing. It looks like the individual who just like became you look at the individual that has finished the ceremony now. The barnacles are upon them. They have Piscean anatomy. They look a lot like the sea spawn that you guys have encountered before.
Don't love what's happening.
Should we like try talking to that person to see if they still have their faculties, or is it like?
Are they unconscious?
Yeah.
They're rousing. They're like in that state of like they're kind of collecting themselves. They're stirring a little bit, but they're not quite like fully conscious.
Well, everybody who's here in this town kind of has that, right? But they're just townsfolk, right?
Not everybody. I mean, some people are Kuatoa, some people are straight up fish people, some people are crab people. Like it's not just sea spawn and everything.
But the sea spawn there are just sea spawn just hanging out in town, right?
Yes, you have noticed a couple. Yeah.
So
seem
maybe
to
it's
be
like not a bad thing here. Maybe it's.
Here's the deal. They also seem
Has a
to
different
be
affect on
like
our
kind
brain.
of like very
Yeah.
baseline and like intelligence as far as like they're like they're been most of the time they've been like given instruction like go there and they just carry something somewhere.
Ooh,
As far as a sense of self, they're not really.
But they're not monsters, though.
I mean that's a very ambiguous.
You know what? Maybe they're just told to attack,
Mm,
right?
that's possible. Or like any creature, if it's felt like it's been backed into a corner, it defends itself most of the time. Except for fainting
Well,
goats, they just.
We haven't like attacked Piscean people. They've attacked us in most cases, right? We haven't backed anybody into a corner.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
what's her name? Our friend there that we found on the island just attacked us
yeah.
in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
She turned Piscean.
Oh, Agatilla?
Agatilla, yeah.
So actually, here's another interesting thing, because you guys have been here for a bit and you will kind of watch the ceremony while you're doing other things. Anybody who's trained in medicine or nature can roll me a medicine or nature check.
Proficient.
Yeah, proficient.
17 for medicine.
Anybody else? No?
No.
Okay. 17 for medicine. Miss Shenny, one of the things that you noticed as this creature was being like brought in to be in this ceremony is that they didn't look like they were sleeping. They looked like they didn't show any signs of life at all.
Oh,
There's zombie.
zombie fish.
And then you think about like, okay, what happens with like total brain death and like if a creature can't like breathe and oxygen doesn't get to the brain enough and all this other thing. Like maybe, and then you think about, okay, well, if they've just been like reanimated somehow through this, because remember what they said at the bar is that people go through the ceremony and they have the barnacles put on them and they get better. There could be like they're arriving in there and maybe their brain isn't capable of anything other than very basic function and very basic orders because they're like essentially partially brain dead.
It's almost like a what do you do with your lobotomized friend or something? Like what like
Yeah.
you know?
The other thing you noticed with the 17 is that this individual looks to have a wound, like a perforation near where its heart would have been, that there was blood on its clothes. You've seen a wound like this before. This looks like a gunshot wound.
Mm.
Oh. So they're taking people that are like already dead and making them into
Yeah.
living. So maybe that's not so bad.
They're dressed in what looks like sailors' clothes, like privateers' clothes or sailors' clothes. So it looks like somebody was killed, died, left in the ocean, was scavenged, brought here, and turned into a seed spawn.
So it's more like they're yeah. It's a very different kind of approach than what we've seen anyway. Same. This is a cultural thing, whereas where we've seen it, it's been more maybe things getting turned not on their own volition.
I don't know. The people. What about like the what do you call those frog people? Mugwumps?
Oh, the bullywugs?
The bullywugs. Was that? I don't remember. Were they like tied down, or was that just happening? You know what I mean? Like, what was going on there? What was that?
Right. So from what you understood there, if I might because it was a long time ago, I'll just refresh your memory.
Yeah.
What was happening is that the bullywogs that had tied down the one that had barnacles over it were like conducting a type of ritual, or at least what they thought was a ritual to try to like heal them. To try to get that whatever that is off of them. Back
yeah.
But they're also, monsters. They're not like,
Did we kill them? Oh, I see. Okay.
You did kill them all, but
Yeah.
We killed them because we thought they were making him into that.
Yeah.
I don't like how, like, in this world, we just justify murdering because they're like, oh, they're monsters. Like, that seems bad.
I know. And like in my mind,
getting to the deep moral implications of a fantasy TTRPG
like,
world.
How do we label something a monster? You know, like,
I think they try to kill him.
right?
Yeah.
Like Hertz Village, entire village, just they're monsters, but you know.
That you set fire to?
Oh, really? Though?
No, they actually attacked us
We didn't
first.
have to go there.
They did attack
did.
you first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, defending their home. Yeah.
We weren't trying to attack their homes or doing anything.
No.
That's right. We were just trying to pass through. That's right. It's fine that we killed Hert's parents.
Well, Hert's parents didn't die; they ran away. They abandoned her.
Yeah.
In order to like To
Oh
save
yeah,
their
that's
skin.
shitty. That's something a monster would do. All right, I feel better.
Full circle.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, self-justification.
Kill them all.
So yeah, so like you're Misheni, what it looks like to you is that like they scavenged a dead body that was like left at sea and turned it into a sea spawn. Now, there's a couple implications about what a gunshot wound means. And you know that very few people actually have access to these types of things. It could either be stolen and be like a privateer's gun, or it could be part of the military and part of be some of those like skirmishes of like the disagreements between the North and South that are causing
But this is
this
a
body.
different plane of existence, though. Right?
Yeah.
We don't know what kind of gun shit goes on here.
It's another plane of existence, but remember how Blubglub had said that
Good.
sleepy people come from the crab rave cave often, accompanied by like other creatures and guards that are from here, and so like they're taking people from the plane, the material plane that have been that are dead, left in the ocean, and bringing them here. And
But that would imply that there's actually people on the island, like going out to the ocean, bringing them in there. Unless there's multiple ways, like unless the Crab Rave Cave is like Grand Central Station, where there's multiple trains basically coming into the same spot.
What you know is that the Crab Rave Cave is just like a misnomer cave where when you go through it, you end up in the material plane through the portal from the plane of water into the material plane. You understand that going through the Crab Rave Cave is it's like going through the wardrobe in Narnia, like the Wild Witch in the Wardrobe, where it's just like a bunch of clothes rather than clothes. It's a cave with and it just gets darker and darker until the dark and starts to light, and you pass, and you just like spontaneously pass through a curtain of water, and you're in the material plane through the portal. So it's like an elided thing. It's kind of gradual, but you do pass through the portal. So that's that's at least one way into the material plane from the plane of water that you are aware of. And Blub Club did state that there are people that bring sleepy people from the Crab Rave Cave to the city.
So somebody is just bringing people from our world into this world.
Mm-hmm. And making more people because of it. Making more forces.
People.
Like they're making more sea spawn. They're making more forces. They're multiplying their numbers.
Yeah, because we don't know how long
situation happened.
Yeah, we don't know how long that they're viable, right? They could be immortal at that point, technically.
The other thing is, if there's more people dead in the water from events that would cause things like that, they have more resources to scavenge from.
Shit. Do we gotta burn this place down? I mean, like, are they making armies that are like coming into our world?
Well, you don't really know. The only time you have encountered them has been those few times that have you encountered Speed Spawn, which they have attacked you. But you're starting to understand that they don't really have necessarily the mental capacity to create like larger plans and that types of things. So it looks like
maybe all we need to do is destroy the portal, right? Take the pieces down, disassemble it, scatter the pieces.
Yeah.
Maybe that's all we need to do.
Because it was already kind of like a mishmash anyway. So.
Yeah. Somebody probably made it to bring people here, make zombies.
Right. And I mean, at the end of the day, if it's could be helping to the broker or this idol or whatever the broker serves.
So this is a very good good line of questioning here. Now that you guys have kind of said this out loud, I want anybody who's proficient in Arcana to please roll an Arcana check. And Tamron, you get to roll no matter what, because this is like natural magic stuff.
Okay, but I'm not proficient.
That's fine.
But is this is an Arcana check?
Yeah, this is Arcana. It's a kind of I'm going to say you get advantage on this because there's some sort of like cultural stuff going on here as well, like as far as like your experience with what it is that you've dealt with this idol and other kind of things. As the historian, this is kind of in your ballywick.
Oh, she's standing, chewing. That's so weird. Right. 11.
11. Anybody else?
11.
11.
Want me to roll?
You don't have a proficiency in it.
So here's you get some vague understanding here. Tamer, because you saw that photo, that painting, with the sunken mistress holding this idol, with then the sea elves who are what seem to be the founders that was mentioned by the salt marshal, as perhaps maybe her people, her denizens of the city before it was sunk that were saved by the broker's deal, who became sea elves because of it. What she is presenting is what looks like the catalyst to this transformation, the catalyst to what it is causing here. Misheni, you understand that a little bit through magic and medicine, through your Simic background, is that if there is some sort of item that helps that kind of transformation, that mutation, it doesn't just work on one thing. It doesn't just work one way. What if the powers...
Well, we know that.
Yeah, but what if the powers of this idol are being channeled to create more sea spawn, to actually facilitate this thing? What if the idol is the thing that's being used, or some of the powers that exude from the idol, or some of the powers from the broker are actually being used in a way that they weren't initially intended? So maybe that's what this ceremony is.
Well, we kind of do that because anytime something would touch the idol, it would turn to sea spawn.
Right.
Right.
So maybe just destroying the idol will bring all this to an end.
Having said that, you remember when you had that realization that you need to go to the spot where this thing needs to be used in order to destroy it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's being
All
used
that
in this
whispering.
temple. It's being used to great effect in this temple.
Yeah.
So
let's go do the thing, y'all.
And then, but before we do that, we need to have an expeditious plan of retreat, because I think breaking like a sacred object in the temple might,
we
warrant
just gotta run, right?
Yeah. As long as our little air plant is continuing to be happy, I think we're...
Oh yeah, do we still have... No, we dropped it, didn't we?
I thought we still had it.
I don't think we
No,
would
you
have
still
dropped
have it.
Yeah.
Oh, we
just
have
'cause-
it?
You've been using
Does
it
it
to
need more
breathe.
poop?
You've been using it to breathe. Otherwise,
How you
you'd
doing, little
suffocate.
guy? No, we're in...
Oh, right, you're in the
We're
city.
in this.
That's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
you
But
still
we
have
have
it
it,
with
though,
us.
okay.
Yeah, it's still chilling with you. But,
How you doing, little buddy?
You can't understand it, but and it can't understand you. So, but you can ask
I
Machete
can
and a Scoop to talk to it. Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
talking to a bush.
But yeah, you guys can check in on it, and it would be like,
Yeah, it is.
That poop is,
Wait, why'd I say that?
I don't... The poop is delicious. That's what it said, I think.
That's good.
I can't understand TJ.
It sounds happy.
Yeah.
It sounds okay.
But now you all get a visual of what this this plant looks like too for the voice. The poop was delicious. Great.
Glad we
That's
help.
my poop.
Delicious.
Now your
It
mobile
was spicy.
oxygen
this is a
tank.
spicy poop. This is a spicy poop.
You said my poop was spicy.
It's a little spicy.
Maybe cut back on some peppers? I don't know. You know?
It's like electrically charged.
Literally.
It's a little staticky.
It's like pop rocks.
It's like oh
yeah.
god.
Oh my god.
God, goodness, no, thank you. Can you imagine like pooping? No, I don't want to think about it.
Yeah, don't think about it.
I can't imagine. It sounds kind of fun. I don't know. It's fun in your mouth. Why wouldn't it be fun in your butt?
One-time experience,
So many times
maybe.
you could say that. For so many things you could say that. It's fun in your mouth. Why wouldn't it be fun in your butt?
Do you realize that you said?
Yeah, you do.
And it was like, what have you done to me? What have you done to me?
Hopefully my bosses won't find out.
Hopefully my boss won't find out.
Yeah, sure. Working in elementary school. Talking about butts.
Butt stuff.
Okay, so
Made in USA.
So you guys are still here, talking to a plan in a temple.
All right.
There are still people here. Like it's evening, but there's still people like praying and doing their things. It looks like one person is doing like one of the sides of the walls, kind of like knitting a tapestry, and that's like their way that they're doing their alms is just like be like it looks like an unfinished concept piece of like the salty mistress, just out of reverence.
Maybe we should like hide out till it closes.
Well, it is a temple. It is open 24/7. Yeah, temples don't really close. But like you could, if you're waiting for like most people to leave, like if it's off hours, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to like find an alley nearby and just like stake out, or do you guys want to go do something?
I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, maybe we can just do it now. There's not that many people around, right?
Right, and where do we want to do it exactly in the temple? Like, does it have to be a certain spot, or like?
Well, we'll follow the whispers down the stairs.
Right. Is everybody feeling okay on like their health, etc. right now? Before we get into some shenanigans.
Mage armor?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah,
I'm tired.
That's a good point. Mage armor, Cam said.
Oh, how long has it been?
When did you cast it before you went in the portal?
I think so.
I cast it right before we got to the cenote.
Yeah, it hasn't been 8 hours yet. I'd say it's been like 5 hours, but it hasn't been like 8 hours because you guys did quite a bit of stuff. But you still have like another 3 hours left on it. It probably like it'll like fade when it's time to probably go to bed because it is evening, technically.
Right. Okay.
Hopefully, we're out of here before then.
Yeah. I only have one last little bit of magic left in me, so I can do one more like sneaky thing for us.
What happens if I cast mage armor at a higher level? Does anything happen?
No, it just you can always use a higher level slot to cast the spell, but it just does the same thing.
For that spell.
Yeah, for that spell.
Yeah.
But some spells get powered up if you use a higher level. It's pretty much meaning like, I spent all my first level spells today, but I need mage armor, so I'm just gonna have to use a higher level. That's pretty much what just happened.
Shouldn't it like add like an extra AC or something?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't for balance reasons.
It should though.
That's not what the spell does. But a lot of other spells do get more powerful if you cast them with higher level slots. It'll say on the spell description like at higher levels, yada 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 yada.
Yes. No. Yeah.
Okay. I guess we're good.
No, because can you imagine casting mage armor at like a 5th level spell and just getting like 16 plus your dexterity AC? You'd be untouchable. It'd be insane.
Or maybe like at like a 5th level it adds an AC, and then at like the 8th level it adds an AC. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
just one.
Unfortunately, that's not the way the spell works. But yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, Michelle, go ahead.
How are we know that we couldn't destroy this thing or even make a dent on it before, even with like, extra powers and weird stuff that we all have. What do we think might be useful for this in this setting? Do we have anything that you guys can think of like proactively before we go down and follow like creepy whispers?
I'm like, I don't know. I'm just like imagining in my head like some kind of forge or like, I don't know. That's just coming.
All right.
Be childish, but I don't know. That's like what I'm thinking in my head.
I mean, it makes sense, especially if Okay.
Or like a Mjolnir or something like that.
All right, so we'll keep an eye out for like really big hammers.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. All right, let's do this. Let's go destroy a sacred object. Let's do it.
Yay!
Yes. Yay!
Blasphemy.
Yay!
Okay, cool. Are you guys trying to be sneaky?
Well, yeah.
Okay. Why don't you all roll stealth checks sneaking into the back?
We still have
I'm just trying to be like chill, Like I'm trying to look like I belong.
No, we don't have Pass Without a Trace anymore.
such straight.
Are we doing a group check or individual?
Individual. What did everybody get?
I got a 5.
25?
18.
I'm sorry, Nakano, what did you get?
23.
23. 18. Scoop, you got 5?
I'm a loud pufferfish.
And 25.
25? Did you cast Pass Without a Trace?
No.
Okay. So, a Scoop, you guys are all headed back there. Your pufferfish, your deformed pufferfish form, it makes it difficult to see, even with your high passive perception. So you bump into a few people that are praying while on your way there, just kind of kicking aim. You don't really have your arms to like steer yourself, so you just kind of drift. And just boom into people, and they're like, "Oh, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me," and then you go, you're like, "Sorry," and then you just drift over to the other side, boom, and bump into people. So if anybody wasn't aware of you before, they're very aware of you now. You see the rest of the group kind of like go ahead and just disappear between the doorway, and then you're like, "Okay, it's my turn to go through the doorway," and then you realize that your pufferfish form is too wide for the doorway. So you kind of like you go in there and you don't realize it at first, and then so now you're stuck.
Oh my god!
Help! I gotta use the bathroom.
One of the people who are praying come up and go like, "Oh dear child, don't you?"
I'm a mess.
Like, it's fine if you just relieve yourself here. It's
Right here.
all right. Well, I mean, you look sick. Maybe not right here. Perhaps let me help you. Let me help you. And this person starts pushing on you, boom, 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 and like trying to just squeeze the side. And so here's the deal. You have your like arms out like this in order to give the illusion that you're a pufferfish. So you can decide to collapse if you want, but like people are gonna be like, "What the fuck is wrong with that pufferfish? Why is it collapsing like that?"
Well,
so,
but pufferfish do that.
They do that. Yeah. So
that's fine.
Yeah.
But like.
Yeah. So this person's pushing on you, and then you just like kind of collapse just at the right moment. I want you to roll a deception check for me, though. 13? Okay, that's not bad. You kind of collapse at the right moment to make it look like they helped, and you do, and then you just kind of like you drift and kind of like hit your head on the wall just very lightly on the other side. They're like, okay, go take care of your business. Make sure you're safe and don't bother the salt marsh. They're sleeping.
Okay. Thank you.
Goodbye, child. Poor thing.
I guess boom all the way over.
Yeah,
to
you,
the
you fully just drift. Because like you can walk. It's like it's air. You walking. It's just like you're doing that like thing where you're walking and like drifting because you don't really know. It's like you know when you walk and you have your eyes closed and you try to walk in a straight line, but you realize that it's like it's really 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 hard. It's kind of like that.
Okay.
But eventually you bump into the back of Tamrin as you guys are waiting before. And the reason why they've stopped is because they've noticed that the salt marsh is still awake in his jammies with his back turned to you guys, looking like he's washing his face and getting ready for bed. There is on like in his, you have to go into his room a little bit and then turn around and turn to the left or right immediately to go down the stairs because the stairs kind of flank his room. Does that make sense? Are you guys going to try to hide and wait till this guy goes to sleep, or are you going to try to sneak right now?
Either
Should
way,
we?
we have to roll a stealth check, right?
Yeah.
I would say, unless you want to scoops 5 to carry over.
I mean, like if we try to hide
Yeah,
versus if we try to go, it's kind of the same thing.
it is. But they're gonna have different DCs.
I see.
Go for it.
Can I like try to make using Druidcraft like sound of the waves just crashing in and out, like
Like
just
off in
as
the
like to
distance?
try, yeah, just to make it seem like like a white noise for this guy to fall asleep. basically.
Sure. You want to try to like help like make him really really tired and try to lull him to sleep
Yeah.
with some therapeutic noise.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you can do that for sure. No roll required. You see him like start to. And he does that thing where his like eyes closed.
Give him a full
Nice.
steak before dinner.
Yeah,
Or before bed.
he does that thing where it's like he you know when like you wake up in the middle of the night and you got to go pee, but you don't want to like fully wake up, so you keep your eyes closed and you try to like sit down on the toilet and just like be like, okay, but if I don't open my eyes, I won't wake up fully. It's kind of like that. Cameron, you don't know that feeling? maybe it's just me.
I do
I
that.
try to go without turning the lights on.
Yeah. Try to turn the lights on. I like try to keep my eyes closed. So it's like he's doing that. He's like he keeps his eyes closed and he searches and he feels for his bed and he just kind of like collapses into it and he pulls the seaweed over him and then you hear.
Perfect. I think he's finally asleep.
Yeah, it appears that he is asleep and like you. Continue the sound of like with your druidcraft. As you guys, I guess now are trying to sneak down the stairs now that he's asleep. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Down
You
for
can
that.
now roll a stealth check with advantage because he's fully asleep now. Try not to wake him up.
That's good.
Okay.
What'd you get?
What'd you get?
15.
What'd you get?
What you
Nakano?
doing?
I was staring at the wall.
That advantage.
I got
27. So Nakano, you don't even touch the ground. You just like crawl along the coral walls and just crab like go down the stairs. So you don't make the sound of like weight upon stairs. You just very stealthily just crawl along the wall. So the rest of you guys have like, you know, made it downstairs past like the wall that separates the stairs from the room. But a Scoop, you step on like the first step and just like the coral kind of snaps and you like kind of lose your balance and you kind of go bang into the wall as you lean into it because you didn't notice the wall was there because it's really hard to see. And then the guy looks, run! Salt Marshal kind of sits up in that drowsy, go like, child, can I help you, child?
Bathroom.
What? Bathroom.
Bathroom.
Bathroom? Are you sick, child?
Yes.
Oh.
Bathroom here?
Bathroom there? Yeah, you can go there.
Okay. I walk down.
You just straight up, oh, wait. Oh, poor child. I'd love how you just gotten past everybody just by saying bathroom. Bathroom.
I mean, nobody wants to mess with somebody.
Especially someone that looks like what a Scoop looks like right now. It'd be like, oh, I don't know what problems you have. Sure, man, whatever you need to do. Awesome. Great. So, yeah, you guys go downstairs. Cool. So you guys creep your way downstairs. And, you creep your way. Sean, you or Tamron, you start to hear this, the whispering more and more. Sean is the only one that's hearing this whispering because, or Tamron's the only one that's hearing this whispering because he's the one that has. Yes, Sean is. Because he's the one that. Yeah. To see somebody. You're the one that has the book on, and you start to hear how channel fade goes back left and right on like headphones and stuff like that, or speakers. You start to hear it like fully on the left side of your ear that feels like it's coming from downstairs, and then the other side like fully from the right side that's coming from the book. And it's almost as if like both sources are throwing their whispers to two different portions of your mental state, like your head.
So it's trying to whisper.
And you guys go down and down, and it goes deeper and deeper. And as it goes down and deeper, the coral slowly, I want to say transforms, but slowly elides into a different material, and it looks like that dark kind of stony ore, almost like the entire stairwell and the entire chamber that you are about to enter is made out of the same material that the Eldritch Idol is made out of, the same material that the pillars were made out of. It is dark here. Who are those of you that have dark vision?
Yeah.
Nakano has dark vision, so Nakano, you're the only one that can really see right now because it's starting to become pitch black.
Why don't you take a point?
Yeah, thanks, Nakano.
The rest of you are quickly becoming like fully blind.
Do you want a light? Or no?
Am I able to use my bullseye lantern at not full brightness? Like, can I make it less bright?
Yeah, if you want to like make it just fully dim light, you want to turn it down a bunch. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. Do you want to do that?
No, not yet. I'm just wondering if I can.
Okay, cool. Because right now the rest of you have become like fully blind, and Nakano is like leading you. She's like, everyone grab a crab claw, and so each of you grab a different crab claw as she's leading you through. Just so that you guys don't wander off. So like she's like holding hands with you.
We gotta get like one of those preschool line holders that you like hold on to the line.
Yes.
Yeah. If you guys want to pull out a rope and say and just say everybody grab a rope instead, that's fine too.
No, I want the preschool thing with the rings on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you guys want to
spend? That's our next purchase.
You guys want to spend an hour making a preschool ring thing here in the dark?
No, sorry.
Okay. Well, Nakano, you lead them forward, and you keep going forward and forward. Eventually, the chamber, because you reach the bottom of the stairwells, and then it like went into this hallway, and this hallway is fully the same, like that dark ore stone material that you don't know, and you kind of keep going down this hallway. And eventually it opens up. The rest of you are being led blind. You can't see anything. Nakano, your 60 foot of dark vision allows you to see that the hallway does open up to a chamber, and the chamber looks kind of empty except for it's spherical. It's like a dome. It's a flat bottom and a spherical top, like a dome. And it opens up, and it looks like it has a circular dais in the center of the floor of the first room, and poking up from the center of the dais is like some very interested, like filigree Aquan style purple stand of like just holding something, an object, and I'll get the object in a second. But the dome is filled with what looks like stone carving reliefs of the creature that is depicted in the Eldritch idol. 2, some odd black mass directly up in the top, like where it would be like the Arctic location of the hemisphere of the dome. And this black mass with tentacles coming out of it, very similar to what you saw on the ceiling of the one floor of that like kind of burnt charcoal area and that one temple of Corlon where you found that well wall,
Right.
where you met with the other party. Remember there was that mosaic on the floor where you found the Eldritch idol, and then you went downstairs, and right where between the floor where the ceiling was, you had found that dark tentacly weird black mass. Same kind of thing.
I don't think that Tammy could forget that dig site, given the hours spent and then
then it just got broken. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So that same mass here is depicted in far more detail in like a stone relief on the ceiling of this one. But Tamara, you can't see it. Only Nakano can. And then the rest of all of this stuff looks like depictions of sea elves being forgiven, or being like, oh my child, by the salty mistress, and it like kind of, it's like pictograms of a story, and it looks like at one point there's like they're under the waves, and it looks like a bunch of long lithe creatures with pointy ears that have bubbles coming up from them that all look like they're drowning, and then this black mass shows up and it reaches one of its tentacles out to one of the more prominent pointy-eared individuals, and then there's an image where like the arms go back on the pointy-eared individual, and like tentacles spring forth, and it happens to a few of the other drowning individuals, and then there's a picture where she is like saying thank you and giving kind words or some sort of like care to the rest of her denizens and feelings. And then you see pictures of these creatures that are depicted in the idol, those like 6-handed, spine-headed creatures that are like running towards this caldera as the city is falling. And then you see them like Atlas, 4 pillars holding up the city on the bottom of the caldera, holding up the city to be like supported by. And that's where all the pictography ends. And then you see in the stand that this like weird, odd, twisting, like it almost looks like if the stone was made out of flesh, the way it twists, it makes this, like the way it's contorted and stretched and twisted, it looks like flesh, but it is stone. Kind of holds like this with what looks like claws or something, another idol sitting upon this stand. Right in the center of this room upon this dais. And that's where we're going to take our break. We'll be back in a couple minutes. And guys can decide what's going on. We'll be back, let's say, like 20 minutes. Have enough time to eat and take a break and all everything like that. Sound good?
Okay.
Great.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Awesome.
We'll be back in a bit.
Bye.
Bye.